Hi everyone, kindly switch on your cameras. Greetings everyone, a very warm welcome to today's Policy Manthan session. Our topic for discussion is one that I think still challenges the root of equality. So despite the topic is that despite progress, why does gender discrimination still exist in education? Even though we have made significant progress in literacy rate and girls enrollment, somewhere I think the reality reminds us that the journey towards equal education is not yet complete. So today's discussion will give us a chance to reflect, not just as a student, but I think as a citizens, that on why this gap still exists despite all the progress. So let's begin our group discussion. You may start by sharing your perspective. Feel free to build on each other's point, agree or disagree, but respectfully. So who would like to start? Yeah, Rishika, please go ahead.
Okay. So what I think so that when it comes to gender discrimination in education or in any other sector, first of all, there is not a single reason which works here. There are a mix of deep-rooted social, cultural, and economic and societal factors which works. Now, one of the biggest reason in particularly our society is patriarchal nature of our society, where we have given fixed gender roles, like men's are the one who will earn bread and the women's are the one who will be housemakers. And because of this, there are the families who are have limited resources. They prefer educating males, their sons over their girls, because they also believe that eventually girl will get married and go to the other house. So educating son is more preferable. But what I personally think so is this mindset is gradually changing. More parents today believe in educating their daughters, but what acts as a fuel to this fire is unsafe environment where women continue to face crimes. And according to the NSRB 2023 report, which is National Crime Records Bureau of India, recorded 29,000 rape cases, over 83,000 harassment cases against women. And when parents see such numbers, their fear becomes real. And I personally can relate to this because going to DU, Delhi University, was my dream. And even I got admission in DU, but my father didn't allow to go me to Delhi just because the fact that crime rates in Delhi is much more than in Bangalore. So I can personally relate to this. And as the policymaker, we may not be able to instantly change the patriarchal mindset. It is very difficult to change a mindset of a person, but we can ensure the safe environment for women and girls. We already have laws, but we can clearly see laws are not working. And what equally need is implementation, gender budgeting, and effective implementation of the budget which are allocated for safety, so that change will happen on ground and not just on paper. Yeah, that's it. That's my point.
According to me, it is a cyclical event, as Rishika has said, it leads to one another. For example, if patriarchy is present in the society, so there will be eventual preference of boys to be more educated than girls. So it is a cyclical events which leads to this gender discrimination. And I come from a small town where some question arises that why have you sent your daughter to Delhi to study? You can let her study in this town only. But so these are some question my parents have faced before sending me to Delhi. So this is my personal collect to it. And also for working women, where patriarchy is seen to the whole core, where she is uh, very expected to do household chores, and males are just uh, pretend to do help them, not not very prevalent that they do household chores. So for me, they women face very discrimination in this. They don't get much time to skill themselves up, hence they are not able to upskill themselves and go to higher position as men do.
Okay, so I believe that कई सारे हमारे गवर्नमेंट ने स्कीम्स निकाले हैं टू इस जेंडर डिस्क्रिमिनेशन को खत्म करने के लिए एंड या बट ये जो स्कीम्स हैं, जितनी भी स्कीम्स आ जाए, कितने भी स्लोगन्स आ जाए, वो कभी भी इसको इरेज नहीं कर पाएंगे अनलेस और अनटिल जो पेट्रियार्की है, जो हमारी सोसाइटी में डीप रूटेड है, अभी से नहीं, बहुत टाइम से, लाइक हिस्ट्री से, वो जब तक हटेगी नहीं, जब तक वो मेंटालिटी हटेगी नहीं, तब तक वो जेंडर डिस्क्रिमिनेशन कभी जा नहीं पाएगा। लेकिन इसके बावजूद भी हम देख सकते हैं कि लाइक राइट नाउ वी आर स्टैंडिंग इन 2025, देयर आर पीपल जो गर्ल्स को, अपनी गर्ल्स को भेज रहे हैं स्कूल, दे आर गेटिंग एजुकेटेड बट वेरी बेसिक एजुकेशन, लाइक आई एम नॉट टॉकिंग अबाउट एनी सेक्शन ऑफ सोसाइटी, whether rich or poor or middle class, I'm just talking in general. तो people are sending their girls to school, but जब ग्रेजुएशन में आते हैं, लाइक माय प्रोफेसर once told me, she is very old, and उन्होंने बताया कि ये जो ग्रेजुएशन है ना, ये गर्ल्स के लिए एक थप्पा है टू गेट मैरिड। लाइक ओके, आपकी गर्ल एजुकेट हो गई है, ग्रेजुएशन हो गया है, नाउ दिस डिग्री, ये बस उसका एक मैरिज का एक वो स्टैम्प बन जाएगा एंड देन शी विल गेट मैरिड। सो ये जो मेंटालिटी है सोसाइटी की, दैट जस्ट गिव देम एजुकेशन ताकि उनकी एक अच्छे फैमिली में शादी हो जाए, ये चीज बहुत ज्यादा हार्म करती है। और ऐसा कई बार देखा गया है कि जो गर्ल्स है वो डॉक्टर डॉक्टर तक की डिग्री ले रखी है, इंजीनियर बन रखे हैं, बट दे आर नॉट प्रैक्टिसिंग दिस थिंग, क्योंकि वो पेट्रियार्की की वजह से उस चार दीवारी में ही बंद के रह जाती हैं। एंड सेकेंड थिंग इज दैट आई वांट टू मेंशन इज दैट कि पेट्रियार्की ऐसा नहीं है कि सिर्फ गर्ल्स को ही इफेक्ट कर रही है, सिमिलरली बॉयज को भी इफेक्ट करती है, that high expectation, like you have to like be the bread earner. So yeah, this is my views. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. Am I audible?
Yes, you are right.
Okay. Today's topic of policy manthan is very relatable to all of us because we all are students and we all go to uh, educational institutions. We all feel gender discrimination in our educational system. Likewise, like gender discrimination is real. We can't say this is just imaginary or in 2025 there are very less cases of gender discrimination because we feel gender discrimination at a tier 3 level more. I personally feel in Delhi, like if I talk about Delhi University specifically, so in Delhi University, there are very less gender discrimination I have feel. I can say that there is a reverse discrimination in Delhi University and or tier one city. You can relate with me because I personally feel 3 years there are reverse gender discrimination. Even if I say a few instances like in classes, uh, if ma'am has asked anything to any questions, so if you have to answer, then you have to raise hands. So ma'am is very selective. Ma'am always prefer girl to speak first. So I told them, ma'am, we are same, we are equals. Why are you discriminating? So she says, ladies first. She need to get a better chance to speak. So I think that's okay. It's fine for us. Even though in metro, I would say there's very reverse discrimination. I would say because in metro, every male, everyone expected to see that a male must empty their seat for a female. Even the female is 20 years, 25 years, they are expected to empty their seat. Even they are not sitting in a reserved seat. So personally, I see the young women not empty their seat for older women. I feel really bad the for the woman that she is not emptied their seat for older woman, not for the male. So I think there are in tier one cities, gender discrimination is very minimal. I would say negligible. But yes, in tier three cities like any of the city in any state, there is a gender discrimination. I personally feel I come from tier three city. I born there. I personally feel that there is a gender discrimination because of the patriarchal mindset. And first of all, the most important thing is economic challenges. Even though there is patriarchal challenges, but economic challenges are much more play a bigger role because the family income is very negligible or very low because you can see the per capita income of our country. It is around $2,400. It is very low to support education for all, like all children, because in our country there are especially 3 to 4 children. So to support the education of all is very tough for any parents. So they prefer male because the male is going to stay with them and going to earn their bread. They think like that. So I think we need to change the mindset. Uh, so that's all.
Okay, I want to add something. So, as someone has already mentioned in the meet that women, despite being working, they are expected to look after the house, cook, etc. Now, when it comes to separate coaches or reserved seat for women, now it is done keeping in mind this thing only that after a day at office, they have to go and make the dinner, look after the family, look after their children, and it is expected. I mean i mean not many have the feasibility to at least have a maid, to at least have someone to look after, to have hire some servant. So it is expected from women only, and still the work division is minimal, and it depends on the choice also. It depends from family to family. So a majority of women have to go back. A majority of the women has to first come, make the breakfast before coming to the office or the work. They have to make the breakfast, make the lunch, and then go to the office. And then after coming back from the office, they have to cook and then again look after the husband, the family, and the in-laws. That is something the women have to do. Sharing of household responses is still very minimal. And personally, if separate coaches for women, these it is done keeping in mind this scenario only. And when it comes to giving the seat to young women, I think it is depends on your choice, that even if you want to give or not. It's just be confident that if you don't feel like giving it, you are like are very tired, then it's up to you. In giving the seat to the woman.
Yes, actually, I'm also in like living in Delhi. So metro seats वाला ये जो point है, yeah, I can see this कि ये होता है. Like there are some women जो कहती है कि आप उठ जाओ seat से, and I also feel bad. But अगर मैं अपने तरफ से कहूँ तो from my perspective, जब मुझे कोई old दिखता है मैं उनको सीट दे देती हूँ, और मुझे कोई अंकल दिखता है मैं उनको सीट दे देती हूँ. तो आई डोंट थिंक सो इट इज लाइक ये एक मैनर्स एंड एटिकेट्स के शिविलरी के ऊपर है, आई गेस. ये थोड़ा सा कि इट्स अप टू यू, या इट्स अप टू यू कि अगर आप देना चाहते हो तो यू आर फ्री टू, लाइक अनलेस और अनटिल कोई फोर्सफुली तो आपसे अगर लेने के लिए आया है तो फिर वो तो अलग अलग बात है। लेकिन ये जो सीट्स वाला अलग डिपार्टमेंट ये जो बनाया गया है वो इसीलिए बनाया गया ताकि जो फीमेल्स है वो सेफ फील कर सके, बिकॉज सब लोगों की फैमिली या यहाँ पे आता है, लाइक सोसाइटी नहीं भेजती है, द फैमिलीज नहीं भेजती है अपनी गर्ल्स को ऐसे ड्यू जैसे यूनिवर्सिटी में, फिर किसी भी यूनिवर्सिटी में, तो वो मेट्रो में जब वो ट्रैवल करती है तो द पेरेंट्स फील सेफ कि हाँ हम गर्ल्स कोच में जा रहे हैं तो यहाँ पे सेफ्टी ज्यादा होगी। सो आई गेस ये रीजन हो सकता है इसके लिए।
Yeah, I completely agree with Khushi here because, like, I think someone here mentioned before that they did get into Delhi University, but they weren't able to go there and study. So, safety is a very huge reason why a lot of women are not allowed to even leave their own hometown because the parents are not comfortable to let their children go to another state because they don't know or they're fearful. And as you know, Delhi being the crime capital, I think it's a very genuine fear also from the parents' side. Also, just bringing the conversation back to where it was. I think that even in urban sectors, it is very important to realize that the gender roles are very integrated or very deeply rooted in the minds of the people in our country, because even in urban sectors you would see that the household responsibilities are expected from girls more than they would be expected from a son. Like you can see very like silent examples of gender roles being established even in urban sectors. Also, I remember that a lot of people in rural sectors are like someone here mentioned before that graduation is just, it's a very true thing that Khushi said, that graduation is just like a stamp that your daughter is educated. Because even if you look at newspapers, वो जो messages निकलते हैं ना कि they need like a tall, fair skinned daughter for their bride. So those are like checkpoints that someone has to cross to become a bride. And even in rural sectors, it's, I think eighth is the qualification for education, that they just have to study till eighth grade and then they're fine to become daughters. Also, about ineffective implementation of government schemes, I think although there are many government initiatives like Beti Bachao, Beti Padhao, and Kastuba Gandhi Balika Vidyalaya, although these are important and they have promoted girls' education, I think that if political leaders themselves are making derogatory or regressive remarks about women, they also are somewhere or the other reinforcing the stereotypes that already exist, and many people are trying to like remove those stereotypes. So yeah.
As these mindsets of even the politicians will lead to the spread of unusual thing in the public कि politicians भी तो यही बोल रहे हैं, इसमें क्या गलत है करके. So these are things that affect, or we can say that encourage the gender discrimination, or especially in rural areas where the basic education is now being provided, but preference are more given to boys only क्योंकि economic constraints होते हैं, तो people preferably choose that boys educate more, and as they will be the pillars of their house. So I think it is more of a mentality issue, where, or also, even if there is no boy or even a male member present in the house, a small thing that I have noticed that someone, for example, if a construction worker is coming to your house, so if there is no male member in your house, they will not even listen to you or bother about you that what are you saying, और they will choose to do जो भी उनके मन में है वो करके जाएंगे, बाकी आपका, अगर आप वुमेन है तो वो आपकी बातें नहीं सुनेंगे. दे विल से कि अच्छा कोई मेल मेंबर नहीं है क्या घर में, उनको बुलाओ करके. सो दीज आर सम स्मॉल थिंग्स दैट encourage the gender discrimination in our society?
आई थिंक यस, लोगों का ऐसा स्टीरियोटाइप बन चुका है कि हम तो सिर्फ मेल लोगों का ही बात सुनेंगे। एंड अगर किसी फैमिली में लोग सिर्फ एक चिल्ड्रन का ही एजुकेशन अफोर्ड कर सकते हैं, तो वो ज्यादा मेल की तरफ अफोर्ड करते हैं कि गर्ल्स को पढ़ाकर क्या करना है, मेल्स को पढ़ाना ज्यादा जरूरी है, क्योंकि अगर मेल्स को नहीं पढ़ाएंगे तो उनका जॉब नहीं लगेगा, जॉब नहीं लगा तो फिर वो लोग अपने फैमिलीज को आगे नहीं पाल पाएंगे। तो ऐसा सब लोग सोचते हैं, इसलिए आज भी गर्ल्स एजुकेशन में डिस्क्रिमिनेशन होता है।
Okay, I also want to add one point that talking about gender roles and stereotypes, I feel, it basically starts at the school level, and it is reinforced by the school, by the teachers. I mean, school institution and then by the teachers. If I say that, you know, yeah, like most of the parents do prefer sending to, I mean, not most, like parents prefer sending to girls in school, but what happens at school is also things taken, I mean, something has to be noted down. For example, that teachers, the own set of beliefs that teachers have, that patriarchal mindset that most of the teachers have in our school, that gender roles, they specifically give gender roles. अगर कोई creative काम है वो लड़कियां करेंगी, कोई technology related काम है the boys will do. So that is something that is reinforced by the school. Playground sports boys will do. When it comes to any dance competition, girls will do. So that division, that role division and stereotype starts at the school level. Now it is, now why you know it is, as already said, that India has a patriarchal mindset, so it is like then transferred into school. And in school, it, instead of like erasing it, it is school reinforce it by these normal behaviors. I mean in education we say it hidden curriculum. Now something that is not written but it is practiced in the school. So in this normal behavior, so gender discrimination, gender stereotypes and gender roles are very prevalent. And now how can actually this, how this actually can be eroded? I feel most of the teacher education, teacher education courses, courses that make teachers, they are not giving appropriate gender sensitivity workshops to the teachers actually don't know that they're reinforcing gender stereotypes. Most of the times they don't know that this something that they are saying, something that in most of the cases I have observed that अगर कोई लड़की बाय चांस थोड़ा सा भी शोर मचा दे, द टीचर्स वुड बी सेइंग दैट तुम तो लड़की हो, तुम ऐसा क्यों कर रही हो, तुमसे एक्सपेक्टेड नहीं है. एंड बॉयज को नहीं बोलेगा, बॉयज के लिए इट इज वेरी नॉर्मल, वेरी दे कैन बी लाउड, दे कैन बी अग्रेसिव. बट देन व्हेन इट कम्स टू गर्ल्स, तुम तो लड़की हो, तुमसे ऐसी उम्मीद नहीं थी. So I feel, teacher education courses have to be very gender sensitive. They should provide gender sensitization so that teachers, when they step up in the classroom, they don't reinforce such behavior that is prevalent in the society. They in turn try to erase those behaviors and make kids who are equally, I mean, make kids, do, erode these gender roles.
Yes, yeah, I agree, Manini, with your point that gender sensitivity is very important. Like अगर आप लोग देखोगे, जो क्लास फर्स्ट सेकेंड थर्ड जो बुक्स होती है, स्टोरी बुक्स होती है, उसमें कोई बेसिक सी स्टोरी भी होगी, एंड उसमें उसमें ये होगा, अगर कोई फैमिली को डिस्क्राइब कर रहा होगा, तो इट्स ऑलवेज रिटन लाइक फादर जो जॉब पे जाते हैं एंड मदर जो घर पे रहती है. इट्स ऑलवेज लाइक दैट, इट्स ऑलवेज लाइक, मैंने अपने लाइक बचपन में तो यही कहानियां पढ़ी हैं, अभी भी लाइक जो छोटे बच्चे हैं उनकी क्लास फर्स्ट थर्ड की बुक्स में भी सेम यही कहानी घिसी पिटी लिखी रहती है. दैट तो इसकी वजह से काफी ज्यादा वो जो एक होता है जेंडर रोल्स, ये काफी ज्यादा प्रेवलेंट हो जाता है. या
एंड इन मैनी सिनेरियो डॉक्टर्स हमेशा मेल होते हैं, टीचर्स हमेशा फीमेल होती हैं, फार्मर्स हमेशा मेल होते हैं, एंड जो मेन प्रोटैगनिस्ट होते हैं वो हमेशा मेल ही होते हैं इन एनी स्टोरी, एंड इट इज स्टिल देयर, बट न्यू बुक्स दैट हैव कम अप, दे हैव ट्राइड टू रिजॉल्व दिस टू an extent, but I think it will take more time, but it has to be something that we have to accept, that some behaviors that exist, some things that exist in a life, that जो normal बोल दिया, that is not normal. So normal behavior जो roles होते हैं, और जो I mean जो scenarios और जो notion होते हैं वो they are towards some roles or towards, they are not normal. I mean, we have to accept the fact, and if we accept the fact, then only therefore there should be some social change.
Manani and Khushi, please open up your cameras and then speak.
Uh, what I personally think, so most of us are talking about stereotypes and prejudice which are present in the society, but we really can't change the mindset like in a overnight. These things or these mindsets cannot be changed. But as there is one phrase also, I don't know who said this, but there's one thing that if you educate a male, you are educating an individual, but if you educate a woman, you educate the whole family. So I think uh, there has been, like, with the time and with as society is evolving, parents are trying to educate their girls, but okay, two three issues. One is, as I previously mentioned, crimes, and there is one more which I would like to add, is economic barriers, which is stopping this educating girls wala thing. So we have to focus on the broader level what we can do. We can't change the mindsets of the people overnight, and it will be changed as you will start educating girls. We can't change it by discussing it here. So we should focus on laws and policies, one of which can be gender budgeting, and second of which can be increasing the level of income, family income, so that they can be capable of educating both males and the females in the in the family.
I agree with Rishika. We can also take one example of Kiran Bedi. She was the first woman IPS officer. She broke stereotypes in a male-dominated world. So we can imagine that if her parents had thought कि लड़कियों को इतना पढ़ाई करा के क्या फायदा, so India would have lost one of the, I think, boldest reformers.
Yes, so instead of like crying about the stereotypes present in the society, we should look upon the how we can change those stereotypes, what we can do. As in this whole internship, we are acting as policy makers, and we are here policy advocate in turn. So we let's think from that mindset.
Anybody?
Okay, I want to add one point that I mean, in RTE Act 2009, that is Right to Education Act. So it was made. I mean, if it was an act by the government that says free and compulsory education to all, irrespective of age, gender, caste, creed, etc. Now, this was made keeping in mind that discrimination is existing. So that is why they have made it as a fundamental right. Now, I mean, I mean, first thing is always the discussion of the problems that exist, and then we work on the solution. So I feel crying on the stereotypes, I think this is discussion. I mean, that is existing. So I feel it is not crying, it is discussion. And then after discussion, there are some policies, etc., that can be like elaborated on. My camera is not working. I tried to switch on, but it is not working.
Okay, no issues. Even under NDP 2020, the government announced a gender inclusive fund, I think, to ensure that girls and transgender students to get equal opportunity. But the challenge lies in the implementation, I think, especially in the rural areas.
Okay, and so I would like to highlight this report. This one is the report by Justice Verma Committee, which is called as Bill of Rights, Gender Budgeting Laws and Order. This report came out after, I think so everyone must be aware of that Nirbhaya case in 2012. And according to like this is Bill of Rights is basically this Bill of Rights is a framework for gender budgeting. First of all, this emphasizes that, which we all should know, I think so we all should study this. I have studied this as it was my part of end semester, so it was my part of my curriculum, and you all should also look upon this report. It's a very beautiful report which talks about, first of all, the gender budgeting. When we say what is gender budgeting, we always think it in a way that we have to divide the budgets according to the genders, that these are for males, these are for females, and where we don't look, but okay, this is for transgender. Well, India does not focus on that thing. This report says that gender budgeting is not about dividing the budget between males and females. It is about, whenever we are constructing something or making a policy or doing anything, look it with the perspective of female also. Suppose, for example, suppose we are making okay, buses. We are making buses. So in while a whole designing that bus, we should look if that bus is safer for women. Do we have reserved seats for women? Similarly, if we are making hospital, we don't have to divide the funds, but we have to look that if that hospital has infrastructure which is safe for women, if that hospital has those counselors, has those nurses which can help particularly to women's move. So one thing which this report highlights is this. Other than that, it gives 6 parameters which through which we should look into the implementation. Basically, this report emphasizes that it is not always about laws and orders. We should look upon into implementation and proper budgeting. And one more thing which report says that is decentralization. When we give funds to states, so recently we have added, as far as I remember, as 14th like clause, we have added this, that we have to give budget for particular environment thing. So similarly, this report says that we have to add one more thing in that while giving the funds to states, which can be the gender thing, so that a state on their level can, according to the needs of state, can work for gender equality in their state. So I would request like everyone, if you ever get time to read this report of Justice Verma, it is very beautiful report which gives the whole analytical framework.
But I think the policies are there in the papers, also in the theories also, but in the implementation in the ground level, there is so much gaps and loopholes are present. For example, if we talk about the percentage of the working women. Okay, so there are various committees that have been formed in the companies. For example, various committees. I don't remember the name. So which prevents, or we can say which sees the harassments or assaults happening in the working place for the women's, but still there are many loopholes or some gaps there which doesn't fill and don't let working women to work freely. So ultimately this leads to the unemployment of the women due to the security or safety issue. So also it can also lead to the कि उनका जो contribution है GDP में of the women, it is comparatively lesser than that of men due to all of these issues in the working place and etc. So how can we look upon that? I don't.
One point I would like to highlight is that there are various committees, commissions formed for empowerment of women. Uh, and we are seeing the results after a decade. First of all, we see a specific bus for women, like pink buses. We have seen in my state there are pink buses. You only women can use these buses. There are a specific department in police, like women police. You can see in Delhi University campuses, like women police van is going through here and there to see what's going on here. So, and third is the free rides. Like women can avail free rides in buses, and especially in educational institutions. I see that women have to give 0 rupees for their admissions, while male have to give the full amount. So government is encouraging a lot women education, women empowerment. Like government is giving uh, uh, some amount of money to every woman, like they are married or not, they'll receive like 3,000 rupees, 5,000 rupees, like in every state, like Maharashtra, Bihar, UP. I think every state nowadays starts to give uh, a direct benefit transfer, like money to women for their empowerment. And there are also various cases like women are getting empowered. They are they stand for themselves. Like you can see in different social media posts, like women in these days stands for their right. In earlier days, like women are subjugated and they don't speak for themselves because the upbringing of the woman is like that. You have to silent. You have to keep everything smoother. You have to respect for your dignity, etc., etc. So in these days, I would say there are a lot of changes. And now we can see a report like the uh, what I say, the fertility ratio is also dropped a lot. This is because of I personally believe the women education and women empowerment. The fertility rate is now below the expectation, like 1.9, but the natural or the desired is 2.1. So this is India is going to achieve. India achieve these things because of the women empowerment and women education. I would say someone highlighted that India have a patriarchal mindset, but this statement is very, I would say, not to the point. The whole world our whole world have a patriarchal mindset from the very like ancient times, from the evolution of women, from the evolution of humans. There is a patriarchal mindset, uh, but these things are changing in, I would say, from last century, 20th century, when the woman gets rights to vote. Even in United Kingdom, United States, the woman doesn't have right to vote in the election, doesn't have right to elect their leaders. Uh, like in United Kingdom, the women get right to vote in around 1920s, and after that, the USA gives the right to vote in the election. So India is the first country, I would say, that before this independence, India declared that universal suffrage, like everyone above 18 have the right to vote. I think India is a only country who I think who tries to respect the women, but somehow the we have a very large population. We have seen a lot many cases like that. Uh, like we also worship women as a god, but in different cultures, like you can see whole around the world, no one countries would worship women, but in Indian culture, we worship women for Sakti, Saraswati, Annapurna, like everything you say, a woman is the main god. So I think in India, we are going to achieve gender equality very soon because our government is taking various steps, and these steps we are seeing the result on ground. Like you can see the women enrollment in higher education. You can see I have seen the list of students that are enrolled in Delhi University. Around 54% are women, and 46% are around 46% are male. So in higher education as well, the women are women participation is very high, and we have to also look upon the dropout rates. We have to see the dropouts must be reduced to negligible. Like women dropout are mainly higher than male, so we have to work on that. We have to provide them in Delhi, especially we have if I talk about my college, like Kirodimal College, we don't have girls hostel. We have boys hostel, but we don't have girls hostel. But the principal of Kirodimal College had decided that they are going to build the girls hostel in next 5 years. So there are steps are taking the government institutions are taking the steps to reduce the gender discrimination to the minimum, and but it requires some time. We can't going to see the change in just 1 year or 5 year or a decade. We need to see in long run perspective. I think after when we reach the 100th years of our independence, I definitely believe that gender discrimination will be negligible or totally eroded. That's my point of view.
Yes, I agree that we have come forward from what we have been in our ancient times, but some gaps are still there. But and on the point that you have said, कि women are worshipped in our society, and that so on that point, women don't want to be worshipped. First, they want to be respected as a normal human being. That's my point. And upon that, also on the solutions part, we have uh, seen various policies on the solutions on encouraging women more, and they have been results and outcomes we have seen, but there are some gaps also present there, so we have to focus on that. For example, in rural areas, if not only in rural areas but in urban areas also, still some gender gaps in education or even in working class women still there, so we have to first aware them. On the mentality issue, we can't say that we can change their behavior overnight, so we have to just stay neutral. For example, giving gender neutral books or uniforms will encourage more of gender neutral things in society.
Okay. Uh, I want to mention one thing, Harsh. You were telling that in university, Delhi, you see girls, and in your college there are more girls than boys. This you're seeing this because DU is more like humanities background wala college. If you will go and see same thing, see same facts and all in engineering college, this everything will reverse there. uh, Women's in particularly as our society or as an overall, males are more sent to the core technical fields due to stereotypes, and women are sent to arts and humanities. So because you were the part of that humanities things, that's why you are seeing that okay, here gender reversing is happening, and girls are having more power in particular setup you are than males. This is just because uh, it's you're there in that humanities boundary, and in humanities girls are preferred more than males. uh, because of the stereotypes that males should go into technical, core technical and engineering things, and girls should go into arts and humanities. Yeah.
You're not audible, Prangya.
Am I audible now?
Yes.
Yeah. So, as Harsh said, that like first of all, Rishika, I agree with your point. Like there are only 28% people, women are there in STEM, and they are very underrepresented in STEM, like the STEM area. And women have been preferably seen more close towards these subjects like humanities and commerce and arts only. So that makes the whole difference. Apart from that, as Harsh said, that we got like universal adult franchise in India even before independence, and we got the voting rights equally for women and men. But like there are no representation of women. We got our like women reservation bill. If you guys are aware, about like 33% women were they got the reservation in the legislature. We got that just recently, like around 2023, like we got that in 2023. And that may change the whole scenario. Like women are not being given that adequate opportunity to be the policymakers. If they will be given that opportunity, they're probably able to think about the women. They will be able to make such policies and programs which will help the women to move forward. Apart from that, I have seen like women have been like they were seen as the main reason for any issues, be it like rape cases or any such cases. They were the seen like not as a victim but as the reason why that thing happened to her. Even in 2012, that Nirbhaya case, and Sheila Dikshit was the CM of Delhi, I guess. At that time, she said that ki लड़की की गलती है, why she was out at the night, so like out at the night, इतनी रात को बाहर क्यों निकल रही है. Like they don't have that basic rights to go out of the house at night. मतलब what sort of restriction is that? Like रात हो गई तो घर में रहो. That is not the point. Like even animal is freely moving at the night, so why women should be at the house at that time? So these are the things. Apart from that, I don't think so that they are being like represented fully, and gender equality is a true thing, because we completely sideline one gender, which is the third gender of like they constitute most of the, not most, like they are minority, still they are being very underrepresented. They get that citizenship right only in 2014. So I don't think so they get the equal education rights or employment opportunities. I particularly worked with them. I was part I got this opportunity to be working like on the field with them, and I got to know the stories where they were talking about that they were not even given admission in colleges because they are from that community, and they are being stigmatized and prejudiced whole throughout their lives. And it is like very obvious, if we are not giving someone education opportunities or the skill enhancement opportunity, and how that person going to be live his livelihood, how they going to like generate entrepreneurship or they generate their livelihood. They have been completely pushed and sidelined to the certain kind of jobs they have been working for pretty long. And when they have been working, like they starting their when I met them, they were working on making some pickles and jams at their own household level. So they have been very like they are being very underrepresented and being very stigmatized, and that's what I feel like they are not completely represented and somewhat sidelined in the society. So yeah, third gender is also what matters. Gender is not just about men and women, and they also should be given adequate opportunities, which I feel like government is not doing adequate for them.
As Prangya, you said that जो policies हैं वो रिप्रेजेंट नहीं करती हैं women को, because and I guess the reason is that कि वो policy बनाने वाली ही women नहीं हो पाती हैं. कैसे women की क्या दिक्कतें हैं, क्या परेशानियां हैं, वो कैसे पता चल पाएंगे अनलेस और अनटिल वहां पे विमेन मौजूद ही ना हो, उनको बनाने वाली विमेन ना हो। सो आई थिंक एक ये भी चीज है। एंड मैं एंड में बस ये कहूंगी कि जो हम यहाँ पे डिस्कस करने के लिए आए हैं, दैट दैट जेंडर डिस्क्रिमिनेशन, हाउ हाउ ये कैसे हट सकता है। तो इट्स वेरी सैड दैट हमें काफी साल लग जाएंगे इतनी इस बेयर मिनिमम चीज को हटाने के लिए, बहुत साल लग जाएंगे। इट्स काइंड ऑफ सैड, बट और हमारे पास और कोई ऑप्शन भी नहीं है। बट या, तो फॉर लाइक तब तक देर इज ऑप्शन दैट स्कूल्स में ही दोनों को, लाइक गर्ल्स को एंड बॉयज को, दोनों को ये चीज समझाई जाए, लाइक लाइक टू बॉय, दैट यू आर, इफ यू आर हेल्पिंग योर मदर घर पे, तो इट्स बेयर मिनिमम। इट्स नॉट लाइक दैट, इट्स नॉट लाइक दैट इट्स अ वेरी बिग थिंग। ये जो जब ये डिफरेंस लोगों को नॉर्मल जब ये आएगा ना, दैट इट्स नॉट अ बिग थिंग। लाइक लोग कहते हैं कि हम तो अपने घर में अलाउ करते हैं, हम तो हमें घर में हेल्प करते हैं। जब ये चीज हटेगा तो ये जो डिस्क्रिमिनेशन वाला चीज है ये हट पाएगा। एंड सेकेंड थिंग इज दैट इट इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट टू टीच किड्स कि कोई विमेन है वो सिर्फ तुम्हारी मदर नहीं है। शी इज नॉट योर सिस्टर, शी इज नॉट योर मदर, शी इज समवन। वो सब कुछ, वो कोई है, उसकी खुद की अपनी आइडेंटिटी है। सो जब लोग ये समझने लग जाएंगे, एंड सिर्फ बॉयज को ही नहीं, गर्ल्स भी जब समझने लग जाएंगे दैट यू आर समवन, यू आर हैविंग योर ओन आइडेंटिटी, तो ये दोनों जगह से ये चीज हट पाएगी। और ये जेंडर डिस्क्रिमिनेशन बहुत हद तक हट पाएगा। सो दिस इज माय सोल्यूशन।
Sakshi, you haven't speak anything. Would you like to add something?
Well, I have one point, as Khushi said. एक instance याद आ गया. If you guys aware about Smriti Irani's views on menstrual leaves, and I was so shocked, like how can a woman say that? Like you were at that stage, like not everyone have that same kind of cramps or period pain. Everyone have different needs and how their body reacts to certain things. Like if you're not having that doesn't mean the other person is not. I personally, if I talk about myself, I get nauseous, I literally faint if I get like the bad cramps, and I really need one day off for that. And you are just saying ki it is just a myth. You are literally contradicting everything. You're saying it is just a myth, the cramps are myth. That's so bad. Like if a policy maker, you are a woman, you should be representing women, and if you are talking like this, then there is no point. So yeah, the thing is, even women needs to think about women. Like there is this crab mentality, and they are pushing it back, and that is not something happening. A woman should representing women. A woman should be thinking like completely for everyone, not just herself, or they should be carrying everyone's perspectives and ideas as well and represent that.
Yeah, even some days back, a CM of West Bengal uh, reacted on a crime case, that why she was out at night, what was she doing at night. So these are the mentalities which women also reinforces sometimes, not always men do, though they do most of the times, but sometimes women also do. But when it comes to stereotypes, the one thing we can do to change the stereotypes is to educate in school years to children's gender, something related to gender. We should introduce any subject or something, because changing a mindset and stereotypes can only go with education. You can't do anything else about it. Either they get educated from their family, if they are not get educated like by their family members, then education system should educate them about the things. If you have to change the mindset, for mindset we can do only that only. And in conclusion, we can do what, as far as I can think, we can do three things. One is we can educate children in their school years only, that this is the wrong thing which is prevailing in our society, and we have to change this. So that we have to change that core mindset, that core stereotypical thing. Second is we have to prevent criminal rates, because they are the parents who really want to educate their girl child, but then they step back because of the increasing crime rates, which is fact, which no one can counter. And third thing is income. you should increase the family income so that they can become capable of educating every child. Yeah, that's it.
Well,
Okay,
I
one
think
last
that
point, then we'll conclude.
yeah. So I was saying that this gender conception is very much socially constructed, and it need to be rooted like out from society only. So, like as Risika said, like educating children is very important. Like they understand that men and women are equal. So in case if something is happening at their house and they are witnessing it, children can literally talk to their parents like this is not good and you should be changing, and that somewhat impact very effectively. Like the student is learning from the school and they are applying it at their home. And one more thing is that policies should be like more like when even women as a policymaker should be more sensitized about women, and they should be working taking everyone together, not just like their own perspectives and things. Yeah, that's all I guess. I think I had one more point, I just forget it. So yeah, that's all.
If you want to speak, you can.
No, I just forget it. I just crossed my mind. I'm sorry about that.
Anybody else want to speak, or should I conclude? Okay, so let's conclude this session.